The coronavirus pandemic has many of us feeling anxiety and uncertainty about not only the future, but the present. Creative people like us, writers and filmmakers, have fertile imaginations to begin with, so it's not hard to imagine all kinds of doomsday scenarios. Couple that with the alarmist tone of the news these days, and it would be easy to want to pull the covers over your head and never get out of bed. But in a time like this, we can use our creativity to our benefit. People all over the world are banding together to help each other, if not in person because of this physical distancing thing that we have to do to contain the spread of the disease, then at least virtually. And here are my suggestions for things that we in the artistic community can do, not only to help each other, but to help ourselves get through this crisis. First of all, you can donate to fund drives, either locally or nationally, to help artists who have been hit especially hard by not being able to perform live. Live performances and speaking engagements are the bread and butter of a lot of writers, stage actors, musicians, and other creatives. So if you know an independent artist who has to cancel a show, consider letting them keep the money you spent on the ticket and not request a refund. After all, you're going to be out the money anyway, and this is a way to support someone whose work you appreciate. If you're like a lot of people right now and you've been confined to your home for the foreseeable future, it's easy just to veg out in front of the TV and do the bare minimum to make it from day to day. But this is a prime time to get caught up on that overflowing to-do list. For example, I have a fiction series that I'm writing, and I'm also editing a movie I shot several months ago. Under normal circumstances, working a day job and a full-time freelance gig, in addition to spending time with family and friends, it's often hard to find large chunks of uninterrupted time to devote to my creative work. But with everything shut down, there are few distractions, so I look forward to using this time to getting some momentum in my writing and film editing. I know it isn't easy to get up and face the day when there's so much uncertainty. Every time you log on to the internet or turn on the TV, there seems to be some disturbing new development. It's perfectly natural to want to cocoon yourself and tune out the world right now. It's also natural to not feel very inspired to work or create. So I would recommend reading or listening to the audiobook of Steven Pressfield's Resistance. In this book, Pressfield, a best-selling author and successful screenwriter, gives a lot of great advice on how to combat that tendency we all have to want to do the opposite of what we know we're supposed to be doing, whether it's working on your book or screenplay or editing that film or video you've been putting off. It's human nature to want to do as little as possible when we feel stressed. But Pressfield offers some really useful insights on how to overcome that internal resistance. Another good way to use this time is to watch online courses or tutorials. I know there are several online courses that I've purchased over the past couple years that I just haven't gotten around to watching. And now is a perfect time to get my money's worth and catch up on those tutorials. There are also a lot of great videos on YouTube on how to do pretty much anything under the sun that you'd like to accomplish as a creative person. Also, if you're old school like me and you have a DVD collection, break out some of those old DVDs and listen to the director's commentaries. Study up on how some of your favorite movies are put together. Study the shot composition and the acting. Really pay attention to the director's commentary and learn how they overcame challenges so you have some valuable insight the next time you're filming something. Now, of course, you don't want to spend every waking moment working. That's not healthy even in the best of times. So do your best to stay connected. Call family and friends. Use Skype, FaceTime, and other technology to have virtual face-to-face conversation. Some friends of mine are musicians and music fans like me, and we're planning to have a virtual meetup just to shoot the breeze about music. We normally do this in person every few months, but there's no reason we can't do it online or over the phone. If you really want to feel useful, check in on people who may be vulnerable. Do you have an elderly parent, grandparent, or neighbor you can look in on or at least call to make sure they're all right and see if they need anything? You could offer to go to the grocery store and pick up items that you can leave on their doorstep. And draw on the healing power of art. Although I'm not a musician, music has always been a source of calm and healing for me. So I'm using this time to listen to music that reminds me of better days. Songs from my youth in the 80s and 90s when I was in high school and college and felt invincible. Of course, no one's invincible, but by practicing self-motivation, self-discipline, and self-care, we can get through this and go on to create beautiful art and live rich, full lives for many years to come.